Welcome to Echoes of Crime. Title: The Weight of Silence. Intro narration. In the land of the free, justice doesn't always come to those who need it. Sometimes, it's not the crime itself that haunts the streets, but the silence that follows it. Story begins. Name: Darrell Whitmore. Age: 42. Location: Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Darrell Whitmore was no saint, but he was no criminal either. A former warehouse worker. He spent most of his adult life in Milwaukee, navigating a system that had been rigged against men like him since birth. He lived in a rundown apartment near the edge of North Division, where the sirens were more consistent than the streetlights. He worked overtime shifts to take care of his diabetic mother and his 12-year-old son, Jordan. In a city where skin color could determine fate, Darrell had one rule: stay invisible. Don't talk back, don't run, don't be seen. It worked until it didn't. The incident. On a snowy Wednesday evening in February 2023, Darrell was walking home from his shift at the warehouse when he stopped by the corner store for groceries. A few minutes later, gunshots erupted down the block. A teenage boy had been shot in a drive-by. The shooters fled in a black Dodge Charger. Darrell didn't run. He didn't panic. He didn't even realize what had happened until the sirens approached. But when the police arrived, they found a tall black man with a gray hoodie and a grocery bag standing near the scene. The same description a nervous 911 caller had given, except the hoodie in the call was navy blue. That one detail didn't matter. Darrell was thrown against the hood of a patrol car. He tried to explain. "I just came from work. Check the cameras, please." But they didn't check. They didn't even call the store owner. They cuffed him and charged him with second-degree murder and illegal possession of a firearm. Darrell had never held a gun in his life. The courtroom, he was given a public defender who had a caseload too heavy to breathe. The defense barely lasted 30 minutes during trial. The prosecution presented grainy surveillance footage showing someone running near the crime scene, someone who resembled Darrell. Despite no physical evidence, no weapon found, no motive, and no witnesses who could identify him, Darrell was convicted and sentenced to 22 years in prison. Why? Because the system didn't care if he did it. It only cared if he could have. The real killer. 6 months after Darrell's sentencing, a teenager named Trayvon James was arrested in Illinois. He confessed to the shooting in a plea deal involving other gang-related crimes. The weapon matched the shell casings from the Milwaukee scene. He even described the victim by name. But Darrell remained behind bars. Because Trayvon's case was in a different jurisdiction and his confession was sealed, Darrell's lawyer had quit. The justice system was too busy, too tired, too indifferent to reopen a case that was already closed. The fight for freedom. It took 2 years before an investigative journalist named Kiera Dumas from a local podcast stumbled across Darrell's story. She pulled court transcripts, interviewed the store clerk, found the timestamp security footage showing Darrell inside the store while the shots rang out. She even tracked down Trayvon's public statement. Her podcast episode, "The Man They Buried Alive," went viral. Celebrities tweeted. Civil rights organizations demanded justice. Under mounting pressure, the Milwaukee DA finally agreed to a post-conviction review. Freedom, but never free. In May 2025, Darrell Whitmore walked out of prison, but the damage was irreversible. His mother had passed away while he was incarcerated. His son, Jordan, now 15, barely recognized him. He'd lost everything: his job, his reputation, his health. The state gave him $25,000 in compensation. That's less than $35 a day for every day he spent in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Closing monologue for narration. This isn't just Darrell's story. It's the story of thousands. It's the echo of a crime that goes beyond bullets. It's a system that criminalizes survival, weaponizes identity, and silences truth. And while Darrell is now free, he remains shackled to the consequences of silence, neglect, and injustice. Because in America, sometimes being innocent just isn't enough. Outro. This is Echoes of Crime, where justice whispers and silence screams. Please subscribe, like, and share for more interesting stories.